"She's not my responsibility," my stepdad told the judge. I blurted, "That ring was my mom's." He smirked. "Prove it." Then the judge leaned forward. "Bring me the last 6 years of tax records." I'm Delaney Brooks, and I'm 36. I'm a front desk manager at a physical therapy clinic, which basically means I solve problems all day and smile like nothing's on fire. My mom married my stepdad when I was a teen. At first, he acted supportive, but once she got sick, everything became his house, his rules, his money. After she passed, I didn't ask for much. I wasn't trying to fight over furniture or savings. I wanted one thing: her ring. Simple gold band with a tiny stone. It wasn't about price. It was about proof she was real to me. My stepdad treated me like an add-on, like my grief was inconvenient. He kept saying, "You're grown. Figure it out." I wasn't rich or glamorous, but I had something they didn't expect. I keep paperwork. I keep receipts. I keep timelines. And the day he tried to disown me in court over that ring, I realized this wasn't just about jewelry. It was about erasing me from my mom's life. If you've ever had someone try to erase your place in your own family, like your memories don't count, subscribe. Seriously, have you ever fought for something sentimental and been told you were being dramatic? Drop it in the comments and click hype or like so others who need this can find it. The ring became the trigger right after the funeral. My stepdad locked up her jewelry box for safekeeping and wouldn't let me take anything, not a single piece. A few days later, I asked him calmly in private, "Can I have Mom's ring? She promised it to me." He didn't even look at me. "She promised you nothing." The coldness in his voice made my chest tighten. I tried again at a family gathering. That was my mistake. My stepdad turned to the relatives and announced, "She's here for handouts." I felt the blood rush to my face. "I'm here for my mom." He shook his head slowly. "Your mom's gone. Don't make this ugly." The room went silent. I could smell the leftover funeral flowers wilting on the table. Everyone looked away. Nobody defended me. Then he escalated. He filed in probate court claiming I had no legal claim and implying I was trying to steal his property. His property? Like my mother's ring had nothing to do with her? When I received the formal notice, I felt publicly shamed. The document made me sound like a thief for wanting my mother's ring. My hands trembled as I read every line. At the first hearing, my stepdad put on a performance. He stood before the judge with this wounded expression and declared, "She was never dependent on me. She was never part of the household." I sat there frozen. The courtroom felt too bright, too cold. But then the judge paused. He tilted his head slightly, studying my stepdad. Something didn't add up. "Bring me the last 6 years of tax records," the judge ordered. My stepdad's face flickered, just for a second. Most people wouldn't have caught it, but I did. The judge continued, "Both parties will provide documentation at the next hearing." My stepdad nodded, but his confidence had cracked, and I started to wonder what those records might reveal. The first betrayal hit through my phone. My aunt sent a text that made my stomach drop. "Why are you doing this to him? He just lost his wife." I stared at the screen. My stepdad had been telling relatives I was suing him for assets, that I was greedy, that I wanted everything. I wasn't suing for assets. I wanted one ring. But the story he told made me sound like a vulture circling a grieving widower. Family members stopped calling. Cousins who used to text me daily went silent. I became the villain in a story I never wrote. The second betrayal came at mediation. The smell of that room still haunts me. Stale coffee and old carpet. My stepdad arrived with his lawyer and this rehearsed speech about my mental state. "She's unstable. She's always wanted attention. Even when her mother was alive, she caused drama." I sat there, my face burning. The mediator wrote notes without looking at me. My stepdad leaned back in his chair, satisfied. He was painting me as emotional and unreliable, someone who couldn't be trusted, someone whose words shouldn't matter. Then came the cruelest move. After the session, he cornered me in the hallway. "Here's a deal," he said, his voice low. "Drop the ring claim, and I'll stop telling people you're greedy." I felt like I'd been punched. He was offering to trade my dignity for peace. Surrender my mother's ring, and he'd stop destroying my reputation. I didn't answer. I couldn't. For weeks I struggled. Grief pulled at me, shame whispered that maybe I should just let it go.
Fear told me everyone would judge me forever. But then something shifted. I stopped focusing on his words and started focusing on facts, timelines, what my mom actually said to me. "You can't rewrite my mom's life," I finally told him during a phone call. He laughed. "Watch me." Something hardened inside me. I'm done being quiet. He hung up. Days later, my stepdad hinted to relatives that he had documents proving I didn't belong in the family, that he could prove I was never really part of his household, never really connected to my mom's estate. I realized then what this was: a character assassination campaign. He wasn't just fighting for a ring, he was trying to erase me completely. And that's when I decided to fight back. Not with emotions, not with yelling, but with the one weapon he underestimated: the truth. What they didn't know was that I had more than memories. See, my job at the clinic isn't glamorous, but it taught me something powerful. I spend my days organizing records, catching billing errors, spotting inconsistencies in insurance forms and audits. I notice when numbers don't match, when stories contradict themselves. My stepdad saw a grieving stepdaughter. What he missed was the woman who could reconstruct a paper trail from fragments. I started digging. Old mail addressed to me at that house, school forms listing the address, medical records from when I lived there, and messages from my mom referencing the ring. Texts where she wrote, "That ring is Delaney's one day." I played that voicemail 12 times. My mom's voice filled the room. For a moment, she was alive again. Meanwhile, my stepdad grew arrogant. He told everyone the judge would toss me out. He started wearing the ring on a chain around his neck. I heard he'd show it off at family dinners just to prove he had won. The court date approached. 1 week away. That's when he sent me a message. Just one line. "Show up and you'll lose everything." I read it 3 times. My hands were shaking. But not from fear anymore, from anger. Renee came over that night. The kitchen smelled like reheated coffee and determination. We spread every document across my table. Photos, texts, the voicemail transcript, tax records I'd obtained, old mail proving my address. We built a clean timeline packet, every page dated, every claim supported. "He thinks you're going to crumble," Renee said. I looked at the binder in my hands. He's wrong. The courtroom was cold, not just the temperature, but the energy. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The wooden benches creaked every time someone shifted. My stepdad arrived late. He didn't have complete documents. His lawyer asked for more time. The judge wasn't amused. "You made claims," she said, her voice sharp. "Back them up." My stepdad fumbled through a folder. His confidence was cracking. Then it was my turn. I stood and presented my binder. Organized, labeled, every page numbered. The judge flipped through it. Addresses, dates, proof of shared household, my mom's written statements, the voicemail transcript. She looked up. "This is thorough." My stepdad's lawyer objected, tried to dismiss it. But the judge held up her hand. "You testified she wasn't part of the household," the judge said to my stepdad. He nodded. "She wasn't." "Then explain why you claimed household-related deductions and credits that required her presence. You listed her as living there for 4 consecutive years." The room went silent. The buzzing lights seemed louder now. Or maybe it was just the silence filling every corner. My stepdad's face drained of color. I spoke before I could stop myself. He didn't disown me until my mom couldn't stop him. The judge looked at him, waiting for an answer. He had none. She continued reading the tax records, comparing them to his sworn testimony. The contradictions piled up. He'd benefited from presenting me as family when it helped him financially. then denied me when it cost him nothing but my dignity. "This isn't about a ring anymore," the judge said. "It's about credibility, and yours is severely compromised." My stepdad's arrogance collapsed in real time. He tried to speak, but his lawyer pulled him back. The courtroom energy shifted. People who had looked at me with suspicion now saw something different. I wasn't greedy, I wasn't dramatic. I was a daughter defending my mother's promise. And my stepdad, standing there with his incomplete folder and his contradicted testimony, looked exactly like what he was, a man who tried to erase someone and got caught. The court recognized my claim. The ring was ordered returned as a personal item my mother had promised to me. My stepdad received a formal warning about misrepresentation. 3 days later, a courier delivered a small box. Inside was the ring. I didn't celebrate. There was no victory music, no dramatic moment, just quiet relief. I held the ring in my palm, feeling its weight. Such a small thing to cause so much pain. But holding it felt like a voice returning to me. My mother's voice. Some relatives apologized. Others stayed silent. The ones who believed my stepdad's lies couldn't look me in the eye anymore. That was enough. My stepdad looked smaller after that day, not because he lost a ring, but because his story stopped working. His version of events crumbled under paperwork and truth. He tried to erase me with his version of the facts. I survived because I finally learned to use the truth the same way. Mom's ring is on my finger now, where it belongs. If someone ever tried to cut you out legally, like your memories don't count because you're not blood enough, I want to hear you. Subscribe and share your story in the comments. Have you ever had to fight for something sentimental in court or in a family dispute? Did you feel like you were on trial for grieving? You're not alone. Click hype to help this story reach others who need it. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and click hype to help it reach more people who need to hear it. Your voice matters in our community. Share your own experience in the comments below. I'm reading every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join us, because stories like yours deserve to be heard too.